At the CV Rich Mansion in White Plains on April 30th, Westfair Communications held its commercial and residential real estate forecast event focusing on Westchester, Fairfield, and New York City. Panelists were John S. Traynor, Executive Vice President and Chief Investment Officer of People's United Wealth Management, Hannah Park, Vice President of Acquisitions for Starwood Capital, Chris Halliburton of the Halliburton Team, Compass, real estate broker Louise Phillips Forbes, Clayton Fowler, Chairman and CEO of Spinnaker Real Estate Partners, and Michael Glynn, Vice President of National Development. Sponsors and supporters included the Capelli Organization, GS&S Awnings, McCulloch Goldberger and Stout LLP, Rakow Commercial Real Estate Group, Jones Lang LaSalle, Houlihan Lawrence, Aditum Internet Management Service, and Atlantic Westchester. Traynor led off with a presentation on the state of the economy.
We feel very comfortable that the economy is slowing. We saw a rush of activity in 2018. We believe, though, that that's actually the more positive scenario. If this economy was in that virtuous cycle, what President Trump was hoping for, 3%, 4% growth, I guarantee you the Fed would have both feet on the brakes, interest rates would be going through the roof, and all of our businesses would be very different right now. If you liked the Trump tax cuts, the changes in depreciation, the changes in the corporate taxes, chances are we're going to see some changes in 2020. What this means is if you're a business person and you're thinking, boy, business is really good, I want to expand my factory, you're probably going to sit on your hands. You're going to wait until 2020. You don't know if you're going to expand, if you're going to buy a business, you're going to build a new factory, build a new warehouse. You're going to hold off a little bit. You know, the millennials, I know they were all going to rent apartments in New York. No, you know what? Some of them are actually buying homes. Some of them are starting families. All right, so there's some good news on the housing front.
That two sort of polar opposite populations are sort of dominating the world. You have the millennials, which now represent, I believe, 30 or 31%. And then you have the baby boomers, which represent 15 to 16%. You know, those two groups, that's 45, 46% of the population. And I think that's the sort of the driver in residential real estate, certainly. Sure. And part of that is both of those groups want the same thing. They don't want to have to travel 20 miles to go to a restaurant. They want to live in a community. They don't want necessarily the responsibilities of taking care of a 2-acre yard or anything like that. And they want to be close to transportation so they don't always have to depend on their cars.
So my developers are leaving New York City or sitting tight. And I'm looking to do some analysis work for a lot of deals that can't get done because the construction loans aren't going to be done. So, and if any of my smart buyers they're buying for the next decade, because even if you talk about interest rates and the 50 basis points or 100 basis points, truth is over the last 40 years, the average interest rate is 9%. I came into business when it was 12.4%, so to borrow $100,000 costs like $1,200 a month. So millennial generation doesn't understand that mentality, and my millennial generations are buying, and now they're selling and buying up again. So I think I'm bullish on the market today, but I think you have to, as a buyer, you have to shut the noise out, the media too, no offense. But, and really listen to what's right for you as an individual. And that's some of the best advice I've given my individual clients.
We've never been busier, and we're primarily doing rental mixed use. I use a coined phrase, it is my phrase, but it's already been talked about. We only do towns, trains, or water. If it doesn't have one of those, don't do it around here. And it's quite incredible. You pick up a business journal, like this particular issue, you see all the advertisements. Admit, all the buildings look the same. They do. Sorry. The 5-story building is going to look like a 5-story building. 20-story building is going to look like a 20-story building. But they're all near towns or trains. And that's a trend, as Chris was saying, will continue to continue, for sure. I also have a bit of a national perspective, since we do operate in, I'm going to call it Fairfield, New Haven County, and Hartford. So we actually do from Greenwich to New Haven to Hartford. So we get a little good, a little bad, and we like to do work in depressed Connecticut cities. Because because it's so uplifting to do anything. But we also do work in a depressed Midwestern city called St. Louis, which we've done a great job of what we've done there. We've made actually no dollars, 0, 0, 0, 0. And it's been a very good experience. And then we go all the way to the other perspective. We go to Portland. We have a large job in Portland, Oregon, which I'll be heading to tomorrow morning. And that is the creme de la creme. If you talk about the perfect town, the perfect development scenario, it's got kids, it's got jobs, it's
culture,
got scenery,
food,
it's got
music.
It's got marijuana, it's got everything.
But I focus on senior housing. That's all I develop. And we're benefiting from certain things that are slightly immune to the, some of the scarier trends, which, the demographic shifts that we're looking at. So we're right now working on a project across from Bloomingdale's in downtown White Plains called Waterstone Westchester, which is an independent living project for 75-plus-year-olds. So in our market area, which we define as about a 7-mile radius around there, the overall population in the next 5 years is projected to grow about 2%. The 65 to 74-year-old cohort is expected to grow 20%, 22%. The 85-plus-year-old, little less, about 6 or 7%. So we're benefiting from that trend. Also, at this point in the cycle, senior housing developers, new entrants, it makes the space a little bit crowded and a little bit more difficult to find great deals. However, it's a very special, and there's a number of different levels of senior housing, so I won't waste everybody's time getting into that, but generally, it's a specialized skill to be able to operate these, so just any developer can't really get in and do a great job. You need to be partnered with a terrific operator. So while yes, the economic cycle definitely affects us, we're a bit protected in other ways, so we're not terribly scared of a downturn.